Hi, my name is Tiffany Wright and welcome to Lawyering Behind the Scenes. Today is episode 1 and we are going to get into reality TV. I have been watching reality TV for a long time. Think Real World, The Challenge, Basketball Wives, Laguna Beach. Oh, so good, so good, so good. And reality TV has brought us a lot of drama, a lot of joy, and has really gotten us deep into the lives of other people. It also has brought us Cardi B from Love and Hip Hop. What goes into the making of reality TV, and how is lawyering and contracts and all that related to reality TV? So today we're going to use a case study of the Real Housewives franchise, which is one of my favorites. Generally for reality TV, the type of contract and what clauses are included depend on the show. So first we're going to start with talent. So the talent, of course, in the case of Real Housewives, is the Real Housewives. So their contracts, every season there's always this controversy. Who got their contract? Who didn't get their contract? Basically who was asked back for another season. And here are some of the terms that go into the contracts. So first, it's how long they shoot. So Real Housewives, it takes them 14 weeks to shoot a season about. And they have really long shooting days, and part of what goes into that is them agreeing to what vacations, what locations, and what doesn't go into it is what is fair game for them to put on the show. Part of the Real Housewives contracts include depiction releases, meaning that they can't say they don't want this to be shown, they don't want that to be shown. They have to show their whole lives. That is part of it. Children are fair game. Their lawsuits are fair game. Look at Teresa and Joe's situation. Did it make for better TV? Did they want that as part of the show? They don't really have a choice if they want to be on the show of what is fair game. Another thing that is part of their contract is the publicity aspect. So they have to be free to do all the publicity surrounding the season and go on and watch what happens live. They have to be willing to promote the season for months after they do the filming. So promotion is part of it. And another thing is that related to promotion is all the Real Housewives businesses that they have. The Real Housewives choose to be on the show because they want to promote their business. Or a lot of Real Housewives will start a business after being on the show. Think Ramona's Pinot Grigio. So Bravo actually gets a cut of your business when you're promoting it on the show. Bethany Frankel actually said in an article that she was the only Real Housewife who was able to negotiate that out of her contract and was allowed to promote the Skinny Girl brand without getting a cut to Bravo. Another thing is when Real Housewives leave the show. So I think the most recent one is that Tamara and Vicki will not be returning for the next season of Real Housewives of OC. When they leave the show, they do have a non-compete where they cannot appear on another reality TV show for a certain period of time. Again, all of this is negotiable. Each housewife probably has their own pain points and things that they want to negotiate in the contract, and they work with their lawyers to work that out with Bravo. Last but not least is the money. How much do Real Housewives get paid?
It's a wide range, $75,000 if they're a friend or maybe it's their first season, all the way up to $1 million for the OGs.
According to Alex, who was on Real Housewives of New York, she said that they do not receive residuals. So they do not get paid when you're watching Real Housewives. Like during quarantine, they've been playing tons of old episodes of Real Housewives. They do not get paid for those episodes. So they get paid for that season, and that's about it. And they may get paid for some appearances here and there if that's part of their contract, but they're not getting residual payments. So that's amazing. Okay, and then so now we're going to talk about another aspect of contracts is what goes into the filming. So in order for them to film at the locations that they film, they have to get a release signed by the place of business. And then, you know, when they're at restaurants and people in the background and they're just doing their thing, all of those people have signed releases as well, so they can appear on the show. So Bravo gets a lot of releases because you see them at restaurants, you see them doing all sorts of things, you see them in other countries.
Who gonna check me, boo?
Now we're going to talk about the other aspect, which is lawsuits. So this is when, you know, there's a breach of contract, where there's a defamation claim, where there's some suit related to the Real Housewives. According to Carol from Real Housewives of New York, she said that there's a clause in the contract, in the Real Housewives contracts, that does not allow them to sue each other. I do not know about this one. I think that maybe some of the Real Housewives either negotiated out of their contract. Her view is that they will breach the contract in order to bring suit. And then, of course, they'll get sued by Bravo and have to fight that out with Bravo for a breach of contract. A big thing that comes up with the Real Housewives is defamation. So things that they've said on the show, things that they've said on other shows. One case of this is in Real Housewives of Orange County, the most recent season, where Jim Bellino, ex-husband of former housewife Alexis Bellino, sued Tamra and Shannon for going on a podcast and talking about him. So they made some derogatory comments. Primarily, it was Tamra, and he sued them, and they were able to prevail under California's anti-SLAPP legislation. Tamra and Shannon were able to prevail in that lawsuit because basically Jim Bellino is a public figure and a person of interest. So they were talking about a notable topic, and they gave what was an opinion. And the opinion was he was going to go to jail because he's shady. So that's how they were able to defeat that claim. And that is at the crux of a lot of defamation suits, especially when they involve celebrities. So it's really hard for celebrities to prevail in defamation suits because they are public figures, and it is usually an opinion and not a statement of fact. Another suit that was related to the Real Housewives of OC last season was, if you remember during the reunion, Andy says, "Oh, Vicki, you know, you almost didn't come to this reunion because you filed a suit." So Vicki filed a lawsuit under Jane Roe, which, you know, you've probably heard is Jane Doe, Jane Roe. That's, you know, how you file a suit anonymously. But in her suit, she said CEO of Coto Insurance. So it was obvious that it was her filing the suit. She had to say that she was CEO of Coto Insurance because she was bringing a defamation claim against Bravo, the producers, which is Evolution Television, and against Kelly Dodd. She had to say that she was hurt in some way. So like Jim Bellino's case, he was saying that his business was hurt. Vicki was saying that her business was hurt by Vicki calling her, by Kelly calling her a con woman and a liar. And then really the last categories of suits are, we really think about the talent, the people that are in front of the camera, but the people behind this camera also can bring suits. So I think to Real Housewives of Potomac, where Michael allegedly touched a cameraman's butt. And then another thing is that on Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Attorney General in Atlanta wants an investigation into the production company for not paying their workers and having them under unfair conditions. So there's a lot of litigation that can be involved in the production and the filming of these Real Housewives shows. It takes a lot of lawyers to either fight the litigation, and that goes into the drafting and negotiating of the contracts for the on-screen and the off-screen talent. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot about what goes into the making of a reality TV show. So Real Housewives is one example, but a lot of the things that we discussed today, like defamation, depiction rights, releases, apply for all reality TV shows. Thank you for your time, and see you next time.